My name is Isabel King. I am a professional mountain bike and gravel racer, and this year I have the pleasure of racing for Scott. Gravel Pro is kind of still a novel concept. My first year racing kind of at the top level was 2021. It was kind of a shortened COVID year. My first gravel race was Unbound in June of 2021, and then I raced June, July, August, and then my dad, he had brain cancer, but it got materially worse, so I decided that I would go home for the rest of the year. So my first year racing was 3 months, and then last year was 7 or 8 months long. I started in April at Sea Otter, and I finished on a race on October 30th. So that was a long season. So this year I am competing in the Life Time Grand Prix. It's a 7-race series. I competed in it last year. Last year it was 6. There was 30 women and 30 men chosen. So I'm taking on that challenge again this year. Last year in the Life Time series, I learned a lot of good lessons. I learned that the season is really long and that you can't be fast for 7 months. You kind of need to pick and choose. So last year I finished kind of middle of the pack. I wasn't sure how I was gonna do against the top women in the country and in the world. And I was proud of my performance, but definitely looking to improve on that this year. So probably my biggest lesson, or my most embarrassing thing to admit, is that I raced with water in my bottles for every single race last year. Which most people have a really crazy reaction to that. My rationale was I can eat my calories. The water is like a good way to like clear your palate. But I've realized when you're racing for 200 miles or 11 hours straight, like there is no way to consume the amount of calories you need. So even this year, starting with kind of a different nutrition plan and training your gut, getting ready for that. So that's the first lesson. Another lesson I learned is I tried to balance being a 31-year-old and a professional racer. So I tried to go to 6 weddings and also go to family birthday parties and also be a professional athlete. And I definitely felt like by the end of the year, I was doing everything kind of mediocre. And as someone that likes to push myself and do the best that I can do, that wasn't a great feeling. So definitely trying to keep the balance in my life, but also say no to more things. Prioritize bike racing with the goal of being the best bike racer that I can be. It's little things here and there. I think for me, I really love the social aspect of riding. I get a lot of messages of people that come to ride in Los Angeles. It's a beautiful place to train and ride. Last year it was always like, yes, absolutely, like come do this ride or I'll show you around. And this year kind of trying to prioritize and say like, I'm really sorry, I have intervals, like I can meet you maybe halfway, or trying to figure out and give them a route and make sure that they have a good time without spending too much energy. So that's kind of one of the things that I'm unfortunately gonna have to say no to more kind of tour guiding. Within this kind of gravel world, I toe the line between professional racer and then I'm also pretty active on social media. So it's almost as if you could say like kind of in between like influencer or community leader and professional athlete. And so for me, I'm super thankful that despite not having a win in a giant race or something like that, like I've had a pretty successful time of it so far. I think the pressure to get results mainly comes from myself. I like to push myself to the absolute limit, and despite being smiley and goofy, at the end of the day you are trying to go fast. But again, it's a balance. The sport has exploded. It's cool. The caliber of women that are doing these races is so high, and I'm incredibly honored to get to line up on the start line with them. Results-wise, my goal is top 10. I think that's lofty considering the lineup we have. The other goal is to get to Big Sugar, which is the last race in October, and be proud of what I've done and also have enjoyed it. If you say like, I'm just riding a bike, that's great, but I think the ability to make an impact in a greater sense is really why we want to do this. It's going to last longer than a race result or something like that. I think if you can inspire someone to do something that intimidates them or try something that they didn't think was possible, I think that's a much better goal than, you know, I got my FTP up 10 watts. I think as a woman generally in the cycling world, like you're always surrounded by men. Interestingly, working on the trading floor was a pretty similar demographic. I got used to being the only female in the room, so for me it's less intimidating to show up to a group ride and be the only female. I don't generally blend in super well, so it's not really a fit-in thing. It's just if I'm the only girl, like, how can I be the best I possibly can be? And if I'm someone's only experience riding with a girl, like, I want to show them that it can be super badass.